And we will talk with Royal Ruckus here in just a few moments. And we're going to do our Internet Doctor segment in our final segment. I wanted to get Royal Ruckus in here real quick.
Oh, I want to talk to those guys. Oh, dude, I listened to their music. When I saw it, I was like, oh, man. I don't know that I wanted, because I'm not typically a hip hop guy.
Well, and we've had some bad experiences with hip hoppers before on this show.
I'm telling you, I listened to every song on that album, and I read the lyrics. These guys are hilarious. They're fun. The music is awesome. I found myself just laughing. It's brilliant. It's intelligent. It's funny. It's fun, and it threw me back. I mean, it literally, there's this Will Smith, LL Cool J influences, and it's this little bit of, the 80s and the 90s kind of thrown in there. And, oh, my God, I loved Chunjay and Cookbook. I mean, what great stuff. I mean, it really surprised me. I was so shocked. I'm like I'm downloading the album. But I don't care. I'm going to download the album. I'm going to put it. It's going on the phone because I just want to listen to it. And I'm a country music guy, and I mean, it's like this stuff is really, really good. I was blown away. So blown away. It was so good. It's so good. I love it, and I love what is it? The title of it is called the world's okayest rapper. Oh God, yeah, this is good. It's really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Are you with us right now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So who am I talking to? Which one of the guys?
Yeah, this is Chunjay here.
You're Chunjay.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate your kind words, man. That's very, very high praise.
Yeah.
Means a lot.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, you guys, your music is so. I mean, I really was scared, man, and then. I really was. Because I just don't know what I'm going to get, right? And you don't know what you get.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like this piece of the Sugar Hill Gang, that kind of, weaves itself in there,
right.
And then,
right,
and then of course the whole Will Smith thing is so clearly evident, and it's fun, right, and it's fun. So, how did you guys get into this whole thing?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, make the Will Smith comparison, because one of the groups I grew up on was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Sure.
And the Fresh Prince is Will Smith, and they had like this particular like way of bringing humor, but like not straight up Weird Al comedy per se, and they could tell a good story. And gosh, I just loved hip hop as a kid and started writing, and I don't know, over time I kind of was like, this is a lot like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. But, like you said, there's a lot of influences you can pick up on, even, as late as Jurassic 5 and some of the later hip-hop guys that kept that early joyous spirit alive,
Right. Yeah, so talk about getting into this. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, because... I've been around a lot of professional musicians, fortunately, in my life, and people who went on to Nashville or who became songwriters or something else.
Right.
And so I'm always curious of the story. What's the story behind going, okay, I was working at McDonald's or whatever you were doing, and then you went,
right.
Hey, dude, let's stop flipping burgers or whatever, and let's try this.
Yeah.
So what's the story?
Yeah. So for me, it actually predates me even getting a job. I mean, I was the only one in my family interested in playing music. Started playing the drums in like fourth grade. Flatline, he was a similar thing, although he had a very musical family. But he's like a musical prodigy, and he just, he could pick up a pair of drumsticks and master the drums in 6 months. He's that kind of guy.
Wow.
So I think when we became friends as kids, we had no idea that we'd end up becoming, closely aligned musically. And it was in high school that we started doing that. And then in college, we were working at Starbucks, and we got a record deal. We only put out one record with the label. We've been independent other than that. But it's kind of funny you said that whole thing about flipping burgers, because we quite literally had a moment like that in Starbucks where it was like, more flipping cups, you know? and so, you know, like we've you know, our approach over the years has changed. Sometimes we've been very active. Sometimes it's kind of gone on the back burner, and our focus has been our main jobs. And then right now, you know, what I'm trying to do is balance it. You know, I've got a job where I work from my laptop, so I keep that going. But then, you know, I think I've played something like 40 shows in 35 U.S. states in the last year. So I'm keeping busy.
Awesome. We're talking to Chunjay, one of the co-founders here of Royal Ruckus. Bandcamp.com is their website, by the way, of Royal Ruckus. And they have a new EP out called World's Okayest Rapper. And they've done a lot of things. They look at Summer of the Cicadas. Check that out, because it's really kind of cool too. Okay. So I'm listening. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite songs, and I don't know who Shiz Aru is, but I love Take the Leap. Okay, I just want to, okay, so
well, thank you.
I love Take the Leap, and by the way, Shiz Aru in there just has this throwback 80s thing going on, kind of this little bit of Edie Brickell and, you know, something else going on. I can't find all of it, right? But there's some of this 80s, 90s things going on, right? So what was the inspiration for that, the Take the Leap song? I got to know.
So, you know, I've always been a fan of the kind of songs where there's like a back and forth between a man and a woman. And I especially like, you know, I'm sure everybody likes a good ballad or whatever.
Right.
I like a good breakup song. Where there's a little bit of
song. I love it.
Yeah, I like a little tension in the music. When I'm not being silly, I like to have a little emotional tension in there.
Sure.
And I'd never had a woman rapper. You know, I'd had singers on, you know, women come and sing on my album, but I never had a female rapper on there. And I met her in South Florida, where I currently live. And about 3 weeks before she was moving out to California to pursue some voiceover work and some music stuff and a few other things she's got going on in Los Angeles. And we just clicked immediately. And she came and saw me perform live. I got to see her get up and do some spoken word stuff. And I said, we need to put our heads together. And I'd always had in the back of my head this, like, breakup song tension duet. And when I ran it by her, she was like, that sounds perfect. And funny thing is, going in, we didn't even know what the hook was going to be, because we'd written like 6 hooks. And we met up there in L.A. We went into the studio, and we started working on it. And, like, once I heard that hook and the way she was singing it, it all became clear. You know, tweak the lyrics a little bit so it'd be a little more refined. And bam, I think it's one of the strongest songs on the record, and the one with the most potential to appeal to a non-rap audience as well.
So here's what it reminded me of. Okay, was the Human League's "Don't You Want Me"? So it kind of had that, that little back and forth. It kind of gave me that vibe a little bit.
Sure.
And are you okay if I read some of the lyrics to our audience? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
okay, so because this is really cool, folks. This is really cool because there's this back and forth between him and her. So, and the lyrics are brilliant. It's because it's so true. I mean, if you've ever been single, okay, and even if you haven't and you're cheating on your spouse, okay, so. Yes, I just said that on the radio. Fine. Okay, so Chunjay starts out fine. Before I met you, but you wrecked my head. Met at the bar. Loved what you said. Angels won't tread. Didn't care for your friends, but I liked your smile, so I had to pretend I drank too much. IPAs and such. Felt a tingle inside when our knees touched. Sounds kind of silly saying that out loud. Pound for pound, want to escape the crowd. Knew that you were troubled. I felt your struggle. Offered my heart, but gave you stone and rubble. Doomed from the start, what were we thinking? Our ship set sail and we were sinking. I keep coming back. A junkie, and this is the line I just find so brilliant. A junkie for your face, and your eyes are crack. Fade to black. And you text my phone, pick you up at 6:30, like my heart is home. Awesome. Because that's every story, you know. You know what I mean? That's literally. I mean, if we were honest as guys, let's be honest.
Right.
We got enamored. Okay, you know, well, her body's in there too. But I mean, you're right. I mean, it was like you know, that touch of the knee, and you're kind of like, whew. You know, you get this little tingle, shock down your spine, right? right? And then she comes back. She comes back, and it's like what you wish every woman would tell you. By the way, I would say if my wife would only be this honest with me, right? I mean, about her thoughts, right? I was fine before I met you, but you wrecked my head. Past haunts present, like, let's replay it again. And the answer's always no, but my mind's broken yo-yo. And there we are back at the bar sharing a Marlboro. Talking about that one Hey Arnold episode that's so cute. I love that. And all the places we'd like to someday call home, bouncing all over the globe like a drunken rainbow. This feeling inside got me all tangled. To anyone else, it sounds cliche. So do constellations to the Big Dipper, eh? I used to believe that stars will align. Now I flick the sky off and ask the stars if they mind. Texted you back, happy hour on the Ave. Have our hours been happy since we just last laughed? You pulled up right before 7 as I pulled back my curtains. Right there, my soul leaped back to its surface. You brushed your hair to the side as you tend to do when you're nervous. I may have doubled before, but now I'm totally certain. I doubted before, but now I'm totally certain. I mean, what a brilliant! I just love that brilliant play. I think you're right. I think you're right because there is something, and there's a chorus in there, folks. I'm not going to read it because I just wanted to do this part. But it's and folks, if you hear it to the music, and remember, I'm just reading these lyrics, but if you listen to the music and what's going on, and you hear Shizuru do what she does on this thing, it's really a cool moment. I mean, it's really, really cool, and it's really honest, and it's authentic, and it's real. I love that.
Well, I appreciate that, man. So, and it's funny though. I got to say, I don't know how this never clicked, but I just now, as you read that, I realized I told her I'd pick her up at 6:30, and I got there at 7. So,
she picks up on the fact that you're going to be there, right? Right?
I can't believe I missed that until this moment. That's amazing.
I mean, it's the classic guy thing, right? I'll pick you up at 6.
Totally.
We show up at 7, and we show up at 7. That's what we do, right? That is so. Yeah. It is so.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I really do love it, and it's just a great song. I'm just telling you, it's a great song. And by the way, I found World's Okayest Rapper to be just so Will Smith-esque and such a story and just really cool. I really did. I thought Ghosts of Women.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Ghost of Women Past. Oh, yeah. Brother, you are speaking a language, right? I mean, you're telling a story, right? I mean, and I'm guessing this is somewhat true because, right, first girlfriend since freshman in high school.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Actually, this is probably the closest to literally true from start to finish of all the songs on there. Obviously, I say a few things to obscure the guilty, or a little bit of artistic license, but for the most part, that is actually true. All those things happen, and actually, the funny thing that I told someone recently, I told a friend, I said, if I say something in the song that sounds like it was really awful, I probably am embellishing. But if it sounds pretty benign, I probably am like covering up some of like what was really bad, So I try to be sensitive that if any of those girls listen to the song, they wouldn't be pissed at me. But
right. Well, I mean, there's a line in here where if anybody's ever where you fell in love, right? It's kind of like your first love, and you're kind of like just going, I'm so overwhelmed and enamored by this person, and they kind of like go, something happens and they're no longer yours, right? And we all have been through that. And then you say, I wasn't thinking straight and I moved to Pennsylvania. Might as well have signed up for a blood-sucking Transylvania. So it didn't work out. So, I just love that because, when you're so, at that young love, when you're so in love and you think this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of the time with, I mean, you don't think straight. I mean, I have done stupid.
Right.
If any guy can't relate to I've done stupid, because of a girl, you're an idiot because you've done stupid. Right. I promise you have.
100%.
Yeah, it's really true. And it's really, I'm telling you, this is just really, I really love your music. And it was a surprise to me because it came out of nowhere. And and listeners, I mean, you're listening to Jiggy Jaguar Show. I'm talking to Chunjay, part of the duo Chunjay and Cookbook, and the Royal Ruckus, and is the name of the group, and they're I guess you call them hip hop, storytelling, comedy, fun. I think there's all of that's in there. I just and you're listening here on iHeartRadio and KJAG and 24/7 Radio as well as Talk Live America, and so I just love. And James, I don't care about my segment because I really want to talk to.
You don't care about your segment, okay?
I don't
Well,
care
we
about
can
my own
skip
segment
it.
because
Then we'll take the next 10 minutes to just talk to these guys. That's fine.
I really do because I'm supposed to be okay. So what you don't know, Chunjay, is that I'm supposed to be doing an internet doctor segment, but I don't care. I'd rather talk to you because this stuff is so cool. So I want to talk about another on this EP that you have called The White Life, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because I thought this was really, really like going to be, oh man, this is going to be borderline. What are they doing here, right? Because because I'm like going, oh man, okay, this is not. There's nothing that can go well here. Okay, the song is catchy and it's catchy, and it's, by the way, it features DJ Sean P. and this particular song. And then you start out with, I'm feeling kind of white on the mic tonight. And I go, trying to be polite, but not too uptight. So many rhymes I recite about being nice to ladies, checking Whole Foods prices on gluten-free pastries, kombucha, Laura bars, Humidor cigars, feeling kind of guilty for shopping at Walmart. Target is my preference. Not sure if it's better, but I get my Cali rice and my grass-fed cheddar, hit up on the CrossFit, do my WOD in record time, got that squat snatch scored on whiteboard sign, wall balls, kettlebell, specific targeting, prosciutto protein, multi-level marketing, got friends, selling dreams, one message at a time, overpriced face creams, make a pretty little dime, white girls named Tiffany fulfill their destiny, Chunjay enrolls in 2 years of therapy. Bam! I mean, right? So...
Yeah, so you know that part where I said "Ghosts of Women Past" was the most autobiographical? I changed that. That was the most autobiographical right there.
Well, I mean, I'm just like...
I feel guilty about going to Walmart sometimes, like it doesn't get whiter than that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think that's what made it fun, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't care who you... and I think this is the point of your music. You tell me if I'm wrong here. But I think the point of your music is that anybody can listen to this, first of all, and I think that's the first point, and then the second point is, it doesn't matter. You I don't care if you're white, black, orange, purple, green, or polka dotted or whatever you are. There is something in here that you will get out, even if it's like understanding another point of view. I think I think, right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. No, that's correct. And I was talking to a couple friends of mine. One is Irish and the other is Dominican with a little bit of Nigerian. Mm-hmm. And I was telling them about the song "This White Life," and they were like, "Are you sure 2018 is the year to write a song about being white?" And I get it, because there's been a lot of racial tension. There's been a lot of really tough stuff in this country, pulling us apart. And I said, actually, I think humor and poking fun at myself is one of the best ways that we can talk about this stuff in 2018. It takes a little bit of the venom out,
Right. I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I think when you open up a verse with "I really dig Taylor Swift," okay. I mean, I think I'm her biggest rap fan, and I thought I buy every magazine interview that I can. I'm like going, that is it's just priceless, and it goes into drinking craft beer, or, having blue water bottles, and I mean, just it's so real, it's so good. I absolutely love that. So I got a question though on one of the songs from the EP, sure. And it's called "Postcards from the Road."
Yeah.
So, okay. So there's this part in the first, this first verse of being back on ride, been back out rocking shows, been playing all the bars, and been spitting all my flows, PBR, a shot of vodka, pickle on the side. So mom and dad still doing it, didn't give up these dreams. So this one, this to me, this particular song reminds me a little bit of, the Seeger, the rap version of Bob Seger's On the Road Again. And except in your version. That's kind of how I pictured this song, right? Because did I miss it on that? Or what's the point of, or what was should I be getting out of it?
Yeah, so for me, well, first of all, as you mentioned earlier, Royal Ruckus is a duo. However, Flatline, and I should clarify one thing about Cookbook too. So Flatline is raising his two children in Austin, Texas. I live in South Florida. Okay. So when we came out with Summer of the Cicadas a year ago, it was sort of a reboot because we hadn't been on the road in a few years. And as we were talking about details, it was clear that I was going to be probably touring alone. And, or, occasionally I'll have a DJ or pick up a drummer because I know a few people around the country that I respect as musicians. So, but when I was on tour, I was primarily alone, just me and my 9-pound Chihuahua pug. And, that gives you a lot of time to think and reflect. And in that process, I started thinking over the years of touring on and off and what really matters. And so what I did for this song was, it's like I'm writing back home for the first verse to mom and dad. And then the second verse, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and they all have daughters. So the second verse is like me writing to them. And then the third verse is like me writing to my girlfriend, who's having to put up with me being all over the country instead of taking her out on dates all the time. So that was kind of the idea behind the song, and I actually wrote it while I was on tour, so it was like a lot of that was true. I mean, I think I wrote that after going out and playing a show in Oklahoma where I literally was drinking PBRs and vodka with a pickle. That's what I drank the night before, So, yeah. So I think it's a good song, and I think. Cookbook, I left out the part about Cookbook. So Cookbook is a rapper/producer from a crew called LA Symphony. He's been a longtime friend. He's been a guest on a couple of our records. And when I was on tour last summer, I approached him and said, what do you think about you and me doing a side project? It'll go out under the banner of Royal Ruckus, but it'll be you and me like collaborating. And that's how this came to be. So.
I got it. And by the way, we're talking to Chunjay, one of the co-founders of Royal Ruckus. And by the way, you can find them at royalruckus.bandcamp.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I want to make sure I've got that right. And I think you have don't you have a Facebook page and Instagram account? Am I wrong on that too?
Yeah, we're Royal Ruckus Official on Facebook and Instagram, and then just Royal Ruckus on like Twitter and SoundCloud and some of the others. Okay. Yeah, and then of course we're on Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes and Amazon and all that stuff too.
So I want to ask you about the last song I haven't talked really about, and that is called Multipurpose Room 2. And this is featuring Malcolm Smalls, Pigeon John, Shizaru again, Eli, MC Red Cloud, and Kaylee. So this sounds like a bunch of folks got together. I mean, it's a great song. I mean, I don't want people to think that I'm just saying that a bunch of folks got together and just decided to have a bunch of fun. Although it does sound like you did have a bunch of fun based on this. But this really, I felt this was really kind of a blend of a lot of different styles into one song. Yeah, is kind of how I felt about it, and that you kind of and it works, by the way. I mean, it really works because you're really blending a lot of things here, and which I love the creativeness. And so I want to ask you before we let you go here, talk to me about this particular song and the creative process and getting it all to work for everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked. This is such a fun song, and the 2 is not there by coincidence. This is the second time we've done a song called Multipurpose Room, but the other one was like 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So In classic hip-hop, it was not uncommon to have these big poxy jams where you get 6 or 8 rappers on there. And they're completely bulky and weird, and record labels don't know what to do with it because, songs have to be short to be commercially viable. How are you going to put out a 6-minute song and actually get airplay? But over the years, a few have popped up. Of course, my favorite was A Tribe Called Quest Scenario. I think that's when the world was introduced to Busta Rhymes and some stuff like that. And so every now and then, on a record here or there, we would assemble a bunch of friends and do a poxy jam. And with this particular one, we did the first multi-purpose room, and it was great. But Red Cloud said to me many years ago, he said, if you ever do a sequel, I want to be on the part 2 of Multi-Purpose Room. And so I always remember that. When I was getting ready to do this project and it was going to be recorded in L.A., I knew I needed to reach out to Red Cloud. And then I started thinking, well, who would sound good with me and Red Cloud, but like kind of out of the box different. And, Pigeon John has been a good friend for a couple decades, and so I really wanted him. He is how I know Red Cloud. Right. Eli's probably the most famous rapper on the record. He's from a crew called Living Legends. Sure. And he's always tough to get because he's always on tour. But I managed to grab him when he had a couple weeks off between tours. And I just basically told everybody, I said, here's the idea. Pretend we're all rapping in like a cafeteria. They're calling it a multi-purpose room. We're just having a good time. We're doing your classic kind of smack talking to other rappers, but with a fun edge, not a mean spirit. Right. And everybody just delivered. And most of us got to record in the studio together. So that was cool. A couple people had to submit their verses, but I think the song just came out exactly how I wanted it and then some.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And so before I let you go, I just want to give a couple shout out to you. So the album, or the EP, I'm listening to me old school. The EP is called World's Okayest Rapper by Royal Ruckus. We've been talking to Chunjay for the last 30 minutes plus, and I am so thankful and gracious. You've been so gracious with your time with me. And
you guys are awesome.
And by the way, royalruckus.bandcamp.com. You can find them, Royal Ruckus Official, Facebook and Instagram, and as well. And listen, folks, I'm going to tell you something. It's just a $7. You can buy the compact disc for $7. And you can even, from their website, you can even send it as a gift. If you know somebody who just, wants to go a little old school, fun rap and just real stories, authentic, I'm telling you, this would make a great gift, and for $7, you can't beat it. Matter of fact, I would suggest that you buy a dozen and send them to 12 of your friends, is what I would suggest that you do. And if you,
I love it.
And by the way, if you don't want to get the CD because you feel like, CDs are so old school, guess what? You can send the digital EP as a gift as well for $7. Yep. And so why don't you buy a dozen of those and get those to your friends and let them listen to it. And I also really highly suggest that you listen to their previous work, which was The Summer of the Cicadas, which was released in February of 2017. It's also is equally, I think it's equally a great listen. And also, if you go to royalruckus.bandcamp.com, they've got all sorts of merchandise available there. I highly suggest that you support these guys. They're just really good people, and as I've learned here in the last 30 minutes, they're cool, authentic, real folks, and I really love that. And Chunjay, I just want to wish you you the greatest success, and I hope this thing just jumps and takes off, and you make $1 billion with a B, not with an M, with a B. And,
I appreciate that.
And I hope we can have you on again at some point, talk about music. Thank you for letting me talk about your music and pulling out some of your really cool stories, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was great to be on. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to talk to you again.
Definitely.
We will. And yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Chunjay.
Thank you, man. Right. Appreciate it. Now, Jay, next week we are launching a brand new radio program with you.
Yeah, we're doing it.
It's going to be basically the same format, only it's a little bit more Jay Izzo than usual. So
how does it get? I don't let you talk for an hour.